So yesterday I had a conversation with a family member of mine, and one of the things that we discussed was on investing. And why am I sharing this information here? The reason why this information is so relevant is because a lot of us from different parts of the world do have this fear of investing that sometimes will cripple or just prevent us from doing what is good for us, what will be beneficial in the long term. So what was the conversation about? Well, hey, this person has the opinion and belief that investing can sometimes seem like a scam. It's like you put in money today and it's like gambling, and tomorrow the money goes down, and then the next day the money goes back up. And in reality, what I see from, or at least what I was able to take away from that conversation, was that a lot of people, not just this person, but even in general, a lot of people that I've interacted with that do not invest always share the same sentiment about investing. And that is, well, it's sometimes complicated, it's sometimes too unpredictable. And in the grand scheme of things, I understand their sentiment and I understand why they feel that way, because I was also in the same situation, or at some point that I felt like, well, investing in some of the stocks can sometimes be a gamble. But here's the thing. This is where your understanding of risk becomes crucial. You see, when a lot of people invest, sometimes we say, oh, I have, let's say, $1,000, I want to invest it. What do I buy? Let me buy Apple stocks. Guess what? You bought, if you go in all in on Apple and Apple drops tomorrow, then now you're losing a lot of money and you feel like, I don't want to continue to lose money. So what do? You sell, you get up. And that sometimes leaves a bad taste in their mouth that then prevents them from trying again. So here's something that I always tell people. If you do not understand, or at least you're not really confident about investing in a particular company, or you feel like you're not sure about your investment strategy yet, one way to alleviate and prevent things from going hurry is to diversify your investment. And when I say diversify, pick ETFs, pick mutual funds, pick index funds, right? When you do this, what ends up happening is that your money is invested in a variety of companies, and you won't have to worry about what a particular company is doing or how that company is going to perform. It is crucial that you take this approach until you understand how the stock market works. One of the things that should give you some confidence about investing in ETFs, mutual funds, and the like. So let's say the S&P 500, for example, if you invest in ETF SPY, ticker symbol, okay, the S&P 500 is one that has performed really well over the years. And if we go, let's say 5 years, okay, this is how this has performed over 5 years. Okay, this is a nice climb, even though there were times when we saw some dips. So let's say you bought here, you might have lost money at this point, right? At this point here, but if you held it and you do not sell and probably even buy more, you will be a lot in the green by now. And that is something that you want to keep in mind with ETFs. On the other hand, assuming you went with a single stock, like let's say LUV. Okay, this is an airline. Let's see if it comes up here. If you went with a single stock of a company, like Southwest Airlines, and let's go 5 years. This is one that hasn't really done well. And this is just an example. Not that Southwest is a bad airline, but they've just been going through a lot of turbulent times with 737. Been a problem with all the changes they're making, COVID, all the stuff. But here, as you can see, Southwest at some point was at $63, and now we're down to $33. So you're off by $30. So if you bought here, you're down in the hole big time. And that is the risk of investing in a single stock company. Now, is it a bad idea to invest in a single stock company? Absolutely not, because if you were the type of person who had chosen to invest in Palantir Technologies and you have held up until now, what you would find is that, let me pull that up. As you can see, Palantir is up a lot. I believe the last time I checked it was like 1,000 something percent, 1,500% or something like that. And that is because if you held it and bought literally, say January this year, last year, and you've held up until now, you would have made, 10, almost 10x your money. Probably even more than that. So all of that to say that, yes, there is always the chance that you're gambling your money if you don't know what you're doing. And that is the truth, because a lot of times you don't know what these companies will do in the near term. But one thing you can do is put majority of your money into ETFs, mutual funds, and then a small amount of that money, a portion of it, a percentage of it, should be invested in this type of companies that has a lot of potential. Because let's assume that you chose the Southwest Airlines that I just showed you, and you chose, say, Palantir, and you invested, let's say, $100 there. With Palantir, if you invested $100 and you have 10x your money now, you would have about $1,000 with just Palantir. If you invested $100 with the Southwest one, you've lost half of your money, or at least most of it, because if it's down by almost $30, right? So the point is, the Palantir would have made up for the loss that you incurred on the Southwest Airlines, and that is just something to keep in mind. It's all about the position sizing, or the amount of money you're putting into the risk you're taking. With things like SPY, the VOO, VTI, all this type of ETFs, you don't really have much to worry about because they are well diversified. If you hold long term, you would just be fine. If you now get into individual stocks or companies, that is where you need to be careful about how much you're putting into them. You have to reduce the amount you're putting in to also limit your risk. Of course, the more money you put in, the more risk you're taking, and the more the chances that if things don't go your way, the more you would lose. And at the same time, you have to remember that it's not always going to go your way at all times. So there will be times where you lose some money. It is part of it, because your predictions or your price targets may not be reached, because hey, things change. Okay, policies change, laws change. All those things can sometimes impact the performance of a stock market, and that's why you don't want to go all in on one company thinking this is the one that would take over the economy or take over the world, because not every company will be Apple, not every company will be Palantir, not every company will be Nvidia or Facebook or Meta, right? All these companies that have done well, the Mark 7, they've done really well. But hey, if you check other companies, other great companies, you would realize that they don't move as well as these tech stocks have done. And with that, there's need to also be careful to maintain some risk level that is tolerable and acceptable to you. Just wanted to share this information with you. If you found value in this one, drop a like on it. See you in a future video.